All right, guys, I wanted to show you today the Veise smart lock. So this is model VE06. I'm going to show you what comes in the box, how to install it, how to use it, as well as the features in the app. So this may be good for you if you're looking for all sorts of various ways to be able to open your door. You have the touchscreen keypad, of course. You have the physical key. You can lock and unlock through the app, through voice control. You even have these fobs that you can just place right against there and that'll lock and unlock it for you. It does come with everything that you need to install it. The only thing that you really need to provide would be a drill or a screwdriver, as well as 4 AA batteries. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to install the handles or the levers first. So first thing you really wanna do is install the latch. Now it does come with this strike plate here, but if you have one already installed like I do for my old lock, you can actually just keep that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the next step after installing the strike plate would be to install the latch itself. So go ahead and just insert that here. So go ahead and just screw that in with the 2 screws. All right, so next you're gonna take the vertical lever, which is the part that goes outside. Now this actually does have 2 screws, the 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. And as you'll see, the bottom you can adjust up and down depending on your door. But this you can actually even completely remove. As you'll see, there's 4 screws. You can just unscrew it and remove this entire thing. And then the screws up here will help to keep this stable. All right, so you're gonna take that tail piece, insert it into the square hole of the latch, and then you'll see the 2 screw casings to the left and right of it, and you'll insert those through the hole in the latch as well. With that inserted, it should just be able to hang there, and then you're just gonna take that inside part, and you'll see there's 2 holes for the screw casing, so just go ahead and line that up, as well as the square hole in the middle. And then you're basically almost done. You just need to screw the 2 screws in to the left and right of that handle. All right, once it's screwed in, feel free to go ahead and just test it out, both from the inside and outside. Looks like ours is working just fine. All right, the handles are removed, so I'm gonna show you how to install the smart lock itself. Now, same idea, you just wanna install the strike plate first, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep that same one again. Next step, of course, would be to install the latch itself. Go ahead and insert that, and then again, screw in the top and bottom screws. Next, you're gonna take the outer assembly, so that's the one with the keypad, the keyhole, and then you're basically gonna take this tail piece, you're gonna stick it through the small hole in the middle of the latch, and then you're gonna route this wire just underneath the latch for now. And then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take the mounting plate, so that's the inside part of the inner assembly, and you'll see there's a hole in the middle there, and then kind of below that will be the rectangular hole for the wire, so go ahead and just route those through. Now before you connect the wires, you're gonna go ahead and just attach this mounting plate to the outer part using the 2 large silver screws, and you'll see holes to the left and right of the tailpiece for that. All right, now you can go ahead and connect that wire. So you'll see there's red markings, so you know which way it goes in. Then you can just go ahead and clip it in, and then you'll see kind of like a cross hole in the middle there of the interior assembly, and just go ahead and stick the tailpiece into that. And so to attach the interior to that mounting plate, go ahead and just remove the cover of the battery compartment. And then you'll see 3 holes, 2 at the top and then 1 at the bottom. And then you'll go ahead and just screw in the really small screws to attach the 2 together. And you are almost done. So at this point, you can kind of do like a manual check just to make sure that the lock goes in and out smoothly. Looks like ours is doing great. And so the last step would just be to install the batteries. Once they're installed, you'll hear a little beep kind of letting you know that everything's working fine. And so at this point, you can now download the app and start setting up the fingerprints and the codes and whatnot. So I'm gonna show you how to do that now. All right, guys, so once you've downloaded the app, it'll take you to this home screen. And as you can see at the top there, you'll see a big icon for the lock and unlock. So you can just use that. You can just tap on it. And then at the bottom half, you'll see the ability to add all the passcodes and cards. So let's start with eKey. So this is essentially a number that you can send to another user using the same app to be able to give them access to this lock. And at the top, you'll see you have the choice between timed, one-time, permanent, and recurring. Once you click send, it'll send it to the phone number and email that you've set. And then they can then import that eKey into the app and be able to control your lock. So I'll show you how to actually import it later. All right, back on the home page, if you click on passcodes, same idea. At the top there, you'll see various options. The one-time option gives them the ability to use that within 6 hours. Permanent is gonna be just a permanent passcode that they will be able to use all the time, and it must be used within 24 hours. Now keep in mind, you'll see a generate button, so it will give you a random passcode that you would use. So to create your own, you actually need to go into custom, and that's how you create your own passcodes. You then have the choice to make it temporary, where you can set the start and end time, or permanent. You can give it a name, and then you can go ahead and enter the passcode and then set passcode. The recurring option, again, will just generate a random passcode, and this option is basically to give a user the ability to use this passcode at a set schedule. So you can choose the days down here, as well as the start and end times. And then the erase option, it will generate a passcode. Once you enter that passcode, it will delete all the passcodes on the app. All right, cards. So that is referring to the fobs, the key fobs or the key cards. So you actually do need to just pair it to the lock. So you do that by clicking on add card. You can actually have it only work at a certain time using the timed option, or work permanently using the permanent option. And then again, same idea with recurring. So I've already added the first key fob. So I'll just show you how it works here. So I'll name it card 2, click next. And then you just take that key fob, and as it says there, just place the card against the touchscreen keypad, and then there you go. The authorized admin option lets you give power for another user using their own app to be able to create passcodes, e-keys, and whatnot. And you just click on create admin, and then again, same idea as with the e-keys. This one being the admin e-key, you would just choose the recipient, phone number, or email. The records option will show you a timeline of all the various locking and unlockings and who would have performed those actions. And then finally, there's the settings. Remote unlock, for example, you can turn that on and off. There's the auto lock function. You can turn that on and off, and you can set the delay time as short as 5 seconds. Passage mode basically means that you can set a time period where the lock will always remain unlocked until it is manually locked. So if you just click on that plus sign, you can choose the days and the start and end time. You can turn the lock sound on and off through here. There's also the reset button, which you can actually disable using the reset button option there. The door opening direction option lets you choose which way the door opens and closes so the smart lock knows what it's doing. There's the lock clock, which is essentially a way for you to calibrate the time and even set the daylight savings. There's the import from another lock. So this is where you would go ahead and type in the e-keys that we created earlier, including the admin e-key, giving you access to another lock using this app. And then at the bottom there as well, you can update the firmware. You can set up Amazon Alexa and Google Home here. And then you can even turn on and off the unlock notifications. All right, guys, so I just want to show you a quick demonstration of all the locking and unlock options. So from the inside, of course, very easy. It's just that thumb turn to lock and unlock. From the outside, you can use the physical key. There's the key fobs that you can use. For the passcode, you would enter the number and then click on the pound sign. And as we saw, you can use the app as well and the voice control with Google Home or Amazon Alexa. All right, so to lock it from the outside, you have 3 options. Of course, there's the auto lock. You can use the key. And then lastly, you can press on the pound sign for 2 seconds and it'll lock it that way as well. All right, guys, so that was the Veise VE06. I hope that helps you decide whether this is gonna be right for you today. But as you can see, lots of different ways to lock and unlock the smart lock. So definitely check it out today.